What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Pushing the Limits. What's up, PTL Nation? Good to see all of you out there on this beautiful Monday in Las Vegas. I don't know where you're at, but things not so beautiful in the country right now. I sadly have to say we're going to get to that. What Donald Trump has been up to today, what did he do over the weekend? We are going to cover it all. We are, of course, broadcasting on my personal YouTube page at PTL Radio Show, where it's ever so growing, by the way. We're pushing close to 90,000 subscribers now. We gained a bunch of subscribers over the weekend, thanks to all of you. We're live on TikTok. We're everywhere. On my personal YouTube page, of course, as I mentioned, we're also on the Occupy Democrats Network. We're on X. We're on TikTok. We're everywhere. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time. Also, the YouTube, why do I say we appreciate your time? I don't know why I said that. We appreciate you. Anyway, going to the YouTube super chat, where your questions and comments will be heard. And of course, my personal website, pushingthelimits.live. We got the one and only Don Lemon, who's going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour. Man, you know, he took a lot of crap for some of the things he said with Bill Maher on his podcast a few weeks ago. So we're certainly going to talk to him about that and plenty more to get to with Don Lemon, who, as I mentioned, is going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour. So Trump lying over the weekend and exaggerating, and I know that'll probably shock so many of you, about the U.S. trade deficit with China. He described it as more than 3 times higher than it actually is, and repeating his lies, false claims that China paid the tariffs he imposed during his first presidency. So listen, the guy's been playing golf several days. He was at Doral, where the Live Golf tournament was. And, you know, he's back in Washington, D.C. today working really hard, hanging out with the L.A. Dodgers, who won the World Series. So the guy, again, not doing anything as far as work is concerned, doing the things that he wants to do and he likes to do instead of doing what's important for the American people during this tanking economy. I think that is, for lack of a better term. But I will say this. There are Democrats that are fighting. There are Democrats that were speaking in Washington, D.C. over the weekend, and I thought it was so good that I wanted to play some of it for you. And I want to start with Eric Swalwell. And he talked in front of this crowd about his message to Donald Trump. And again, there were peaceful protests all over the country, and I give everybody credit for doing that to fight this oligarchy. But some of the bigger names on the left held some rallies. This one was in D.C. over the weekend, and this is Eric Swalwell's message to Donald Trump, so have a listen to this.
Because as you stand here right now, we have gone from a Trump slump to a Trump train wreck. We are going into a red recession. Our 401ks are 201ks. Our costs at Walmart and Home Depot and Target, where 4 out of 5 of the things we buy are from overseas, are going up. And where is Donald Trump? He's golfing. So to Donald Trump, I say, get your ass off the golf course and face the people.
Well done, Mr. Swalwell, and he's going to be joining us on the show this month at some point again. But I thought he did a great job. Listen, somebody that I haven't always been too fond of is Ilhan Omar. But I do appreciate the fact that she is obviously on the right side of history, and she is as anti-Donald Trump as anybody is. And she also joined this rally today, and I thought she had some very important words that she shared with the people. Have a listen to what Ilhan Omar had to say.
They want you to think it is okay to snatch people in the middle of the night and disappear them. They want to take away our pride as Americans in the Constitution and due process by putting people in foreign prisons in a dark hole. They want to crash the economy so that they can set up a process of punishment and reward, so they can grab more power for who will bend the knee and give them access. None of this is normal.
She's right. None of this is normal, and it's horrible for the country. And you know, they're talking about, well, we had a clerical error, you know, with this one guy that was sent over to the El Salvador prison who should have never been deported to begin with. Oh, my bad, our bad. when we know that there are many more just like that guy who should not be in that prison, but they defy judges, they defy the Constitution, and they don't respect the rule of law. Donald Trump has never respected the rule of law his entire life. What makes people think that he's going to start respecting it now with all this power? And then there's Norm Eisen. Remember Eisen, his security clearance was taken away. He also spoke in D.C. at this very rally. And I love Norm Eisen. Listen to what he had to say.
You know what? Trump and Musk can't stand all that losing. That's why. Yes, they hate it. That's why they're lashing out at all the lawyers and the law firms. Shoot, they're lashing out at me. Donald Trump has removed my security clearance 3 times. 3 times. I don't know if it's a mental capacity thing and he just forgets that he did it, or if he takes it away and then when he loses again, he says, turn it back on so I can feel better about all the losing.
Norm's actually very funny. That is true. He's taken his security clearance away multiple times. Maybe he's in the bunker. I don't know. And then there's a Democrat that I've always supported that I think is a fighter, and that's Jamie Raskin. Speaks truth to power. And again, this was a great rally that took place in D.C. over the weekend. And here's what Jamie Raskin had to say about what's going on so far 2 months into the Trump administration.
He gave us the right to speak freely, to publish freely, to worship freely, to assemble freely, and to petition government for a redress of grievances. Dr. King said, we've got the right to protest for what is right without being arrested, deported, or fired. We got the right to read the books we want, including 1984 and The Handmaid's Tale, even if they now belong in the nonfiction section. We've even got the right to call the president deranged for crashing our economy, destroying $6 trillion of wealth, and turning my 401k into a 201k.
Yeah, exactly. I love Jamie Raskin. He did a really good job there. And it is interesting that so many of these MAGA Republicans are saying, well, there's going to be a little bit of pain, but, in the long run, this is going to help the American people. Oh, yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. While all these Trump supporters, their 401ks are going down the crapper. The stock market has plunged. I think the Dow was down around 2,100 points the other day, and it's not getting better anytime soon. Tesla stock is way down too, by the way. So even some of Donald Trump's most staunch supporters are losing money because of this. But listen, this is a money grab for Donald Trump. This is a money grab for many people around Donald Trump. When Donald Trump does something, it has to benefit him. He does not care about the American people. He could care less with these tariffs if the American people have to suffer for it. And as long as it's enriching himself and his very close allies, that's really all he cares about. Like, for instance, the tax loopholes for the top 1%. That's all Donald Trump cares about. So here's a Democrat that I believe is a rising star within the party. His name is Maxwell Frost, and he was also at this rally over the weekend. Have a listen to him.
Ones that are screwing us over on the job. They tell us that trans people are a threat to our children, but they're the ones dismantling public education. They're the ones denying the climate crisis. They're the ones poisoning our planet. They're the ones doing nothing about the national public health emergency of gun violence. And they want us to believe that they're the patriots of free speech. Kidnapping and disappearing college students across this country that are just fighting for peace to ensure that innocent people don't die.
I tell you what, I could see Maxwell Frost running for president one day. I think he has a very bright future. I love Maxwell Frost. I think he's great. We need more Democrats speaking out like Maxwell Frost. We need more people like Jamie Raskin. We need more people like Eric Swalwell, quite frankly. We need more of these Democrats getting out there. Get rid of the Chuck Schumers. When I say get rid of, I mean push them off to the side, not literally. They need to step down. I'm tired of Nancy Pelosi. I'm sorry. We need more younger people in office. Maxwell Frost. Can you imagine Just think about this for a minute, okay? In any race, okay? If Maxwell Frost one day runs for president and somebody like a Jasmine Crockett or AOC runs as his vice president, oh man. I'm not saying it should happen in 2028. I'm not saying necessarily. But all I'm saying is a Cory Booker type, a Maxwell Frost type, an AOC type. This is what the Democrat Party needs right now. Get those people out there. I like what they're doing, and I thought the Democrats and those people, those cuts that I just played, I thought they did a really good job over the weekend, and I commend everybody who went to these peaceful protests over the weekend. It seems to be working to an extent, right? It seems to be working. Keep the fight. Continue doing what you're doing. I like what I'm seeing. So, what's going on in MAGA world? Well, somebody that I actually do respect on CNN very much so. I think Jake Tapper is a very good journalist. And he's interviewing Brooke Rollins. And if you don't know who Brooke Rollins, complete imbecile, complete MAGA imbecile. And this was the moment, and I'm sure some of you have heard this story, because it's so telling on how stupid some of these people in the Trump administration are, that they've decided to impose a 10% tariff on the Heard and McDonald Islands. Now, just to give people a little bit of background on the McDonald Islands, there are no human beings there, just penguins. So the penguins, sadly, are going to have to pay the brunt, I guess, of these tariffs. So in this interview, which I think is a serious question, because why would you tariff an area that has no human beings? I think that's actually a very fair question to ask. So he asked Brooke Rollins, and listen to how Brooke kind of like shrugs it off and rolls her eyes at the question. What an embarrassing moment for the Trump administration, and what an embarrassing moment for Brooke Rollins live on CNN with Jake Tapper. Have a listen to this exchange.
Example, President Trump laid out with a giant graphic of all the countries where tariffs were going to be, what he called reciprocal tariffs were going to be imposed. And you're imposing a 10% tariff on the Heard and McDonald Islands. The Heard and McDonald Islands have zero human inhabitants. They have zero exports. They have zero imports. They do have a lot of penguins. Why are you putting import tariffs on islands that are entirely populated by penguins?
Well, I mean, come on, Jake. Obviously.
Yeah, come on.
Here's
Come on,
the
Jake. Don't ask me a real
We live
question.
under a tariff regime from other countries. We have
Not
too long
the McDonald Islands is not imposing.
The idea that America goes first. I mean, come on. Whatever. Listen, the people that are doing this are serious, intentional, patriotic, the smartest people I've ever worked with. I did not come up with the formulas. I'm the ag secretary. I studied agriculture at Texas A&M. I was in a lot of conversations to make sure our farmers and our ranchers were part of that. The president recognized the importance of inputs. We got potash and fertilizer to make sure they could do their planting. But I have no doubt that I speak on behalf of President Trump when he would say he has the utmost confidence in the team and what they have built and what they have put together. And we are unleashing a new golden age, and we will see an economy that will benefit not just every corner of America, but our farmers and our ranchers and the people that have been left behind for far too long by both Republicans and Democrats.
So you.
What? What did she just say? We have a lot of competent people here that are very qualified, but we're going to impose tariffs on penguins. I mean, that's really what the question was about. Notice, oh, come on, Jake. Why are you asking me that question? Come on. What that means is you're putting me in a corner. I can't defend it. It was a very stupid mistake, but I have to pretend like it's not a big deal. Just like Signalgate, right? Notice how they just want that story just to go away. Oh, I haven't forgotten about it. Yeah, why are you imposing 10% tariffs on penguins, you frickin' morons? And I'm not talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins, okay? Oh, come on, Jake. Whatever. She sounds like Alicia Silverstone. Whatever. No, you guys did that. And some incompetent moron, just like the same moron who put a journalist in your Signal chat, another moron who said, hey, I got an idea. Let's put the McDonald Islands in there, and I'm not going to do any research until the media finds out, well, wait a second, there's no human beings in there, just penguins. Some of the biggest morons in the world are working in Donald Trump's administration, and even bigger morons support this administration. And meanwhile, while our president single-handedly has literally crashed our economy in a week, what did he end up doing over the weekend? He played golf. He hung out with some Saudi nationals at the Live Golf Tour on his golf course where they paid him millions of dollars to rent out that golf course for a week. He went to a Live dinner while the economy has crashed under his watch, under his directive. And on April 5th, which was just a few days ago, when all this is going on, a White House statement per the press pool was stated as saying, quote, you ready for this? I'll give you a hint. It's got nothing to do with the economy. Quote, the president won his second round matchup of the Senior Club Championship today in Jupiter, Florida, and advances to the championship round tomorrow. Like anybody gives a flying F that he's playing in some golf senior championship. And that's the kind of stuff that the White House puts out or put out over the weekend. Wasn't about the reality of how so many people in this country are losing their jobs. No mention of the 4 soldiers who lost their lives in Lithuania. Oh, by the way, Donald Trump passed on that ceremony. The people, you know what's really sad? The politicians and the powerful people in Lithuania treated those soldiers with far more respect than our own president of the United States did. While that fat, lard piece of human garbage was on the golf course, cheating on the golf course to say that he won some stupid senior championship like anybody cares. Apparently he does. Apparently the people around him pretend that they care. And that was more important for the White House to put out that kind of information. But you see, I have a collection of clips that CNN put together that I want to play for you. Because for years, Donald Trump was complaining about Barack Obama on the golf course. For years, Donald Trump said, I'll be a man of the people and I'll be hard at work. Let me remind you again, the last several days he's been playing golf. For almost half of his days in office, in about 9 weeks or so, he's been playing golf on taxpayer funds. That's right. He's played more golf in 4 years and 2 months than any other president in American history. But this is Donald Trump over the years, a collection of clips where Donald Trump is complaining about Democrat presidents playing golf. Have a listen to this.
Obama, it was reported today, played 250 rounds of golf.
Everything's executive order because he doesn't have enough time because he's playing so much golf.
Obama ought to get off the golf course and get down there.
I'm going to be working for you. I'm not going to have time to go play golf.
He played more golf last year than Tiger Woods.
Guy plays more golf than people on the PGA Tour.
I love golf. I think it's one of the greats, but I don't have time.
If I were in the White House, I don't think I'd ever see Turnberry again. I don't think I'd ever see Doral again.
I'm not going to be playing much golf, believe me. If I win this, I'm not going to be playing much golf.
Has he not been playing much golf? He saw Doral over the weekend to appease his Saudi friends. He's played more golf in 4 years and 2 months than any other president in American history, period. He's played more golf in 4 years than Barack Obama played in 8 years. Now, it won't shock you that he's a liar, but we can really literally use any of his words against him. It's so pathetic and it's so disgusting. It's a joke. Speaking of jokes, Mark Levin. Do you guys know who Mark Levin is? Right-wing talk show host. Disgusting inside and out. So Mark Levin, somebody who calls himself a constitutionalist. Are you a liberal? That's Mark Levin. Are you a liberal? I mean, he sounds like a chipmunk. He's a talentless buffoon who wears the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7. I don't even know how he has any listeners. I really don't understand it. I think he's talentless. And, you know, he doesn't interview anybody on the other side. He coddles to people. He coddles to Donald Trump. And listen to the way Mark Levin has decided to spin what exactly is going on in this country when it comes to these tariffs and all these people that are struggling and the American consumer. Somehow Mark Levin, who I don't think is a very intelligent person, everyone's like, oh, well, he's a constitutionalist. Oh, really? He is? What did he have to say about January 6th? What did he think about that? What did he have to say about Donald Trump breaking the law and just pushing aside our Constitution? You see, Mark Levin won't talk about stuff like that, but he'll talk about Hunter Biden's laptop because he's a right-wing hack and a turd. Yes, I said it. Mark Levin is a piece of turd. That's what he is. And this is how Mark Levin put into words the spinning and the ass-kissing that and the brown-nosing that some of these people do. Listen to the way Mark Levin, the despicable turd on the far right, described into words what the country is going through right now with these tariffs. It's really mesmerizing what this right-wing fool in his right-wing echo chamber radio show had to say about this. Have a listen.
He is doing something that's never been done. And it's actually quite exciting and invigorating. Will there be a period of difficulty? I suspect there is. But a lot of that is the layover from the Biden regime, which spend like a bunch of drunken Marxists.
Drunken Marxists. Okay, so let me get this straight. The constitutionalist, and some of you idiots out there that listen to this guy, I would imagine some of you do, he's blaming Joe Biden and his Marxist policies. Notice how they never get specific and name a policy, by the way. It's just like when they call people pedophiles, they call them Marxist, libtards. They never get specific on why, right? When I call Donald Trump a liable sexual abuser, I'm looking at the actual E. Jean Carroll case, or the 25 women that have come forward that have claimed that he raped or sexually abused them, including his ex-wife, in court documents, right? When I call him a liar, I could just go by some of the things he said over the weekend, or the fact he has still yet to concede the 2020 election, right? When I call somebody a name, I usually have reason for it. But Mark Levin, the constitutionalist. Oh, I'm so smart. Are you a liberal? The constitutionalist. Joe Biden's Marxist policies. Okay, name one, Mark. You frickin' moron, you. Name one. You 4-foot-tall fool. Name one. He's blaming Joe Biden for the stock market plunging. He's blaming Joe Biden for the Dow down 2,100 points the other day. He's blaming Joe Biden for all these government workers for no reason at all losing their jobs. He's blaming Joe Biden for all those auto dealerships that have shut down, that have closed temporarily. He's blaming Joe Biden. How could anybody listen to these people? And listen, to be fair, Mark Levin is not the only one. Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, Jesse Waters, the usual idiots, right, with zero credibility, are literally trying to blame Joe Biden. Well, guess what? That ain't going to work anymore because Joe Biden's not president. He didn't implement these 25% tariffs. You guys own it. You are the ones that voted for Donald Trump. And I'm not just talking to Republicans that are in office. They own it as well because they've allowed him to do this. I am talking to all of you who voted for Donald Trump. You own this. This is on you. I don't want to hear you cry. I don't want to hear you complain. We are all suffering because of all you idiots that decided to vote for the orange orangutan. This is on you. This is your fault. You did this. This is the America that you wanted. Or if you didn't want it and you didn't think Donald Trump was going to do this, then shame on you. You are ill-informed. And you did not do your research. Donald Trump said he was going to do these things. It's all in Project 2025. He's just implementing them one by one. He said he was going to do all these things. And he doesn't care about tariffs and how it could face American people and all these people losing their jobs and losing their livelihood. You voted for this. This is on you. Sadly, people like me are going to suffer for it because of you imbeciles out there that still to this day, so many of you won't admit that you made a mistake with your vote. Let me be very clear. This would not have happened under Kamala Harris. A lot would not have happened under Kamala Harris. This certainly would not have happened. She wouldn't have imposed 25% tariffs. The stock market wouldn't be going crazy right now. And, the Dow wouldn't have been down 2,000 points. People wouldn't have been losing their jobs all over the country. This would not have happened under Kamala Harris. You did this, Trump supporters. Own it now. And don't blame Joe Biden because this is all on Donald Trump. And while all this was going on, Tommy Tuberville seems to be focused on trans women in sports. Yep, that's right. The economy tanking right now. Tommy Tuberville continues to talk about trans issues in women's sports. Listen to what he had to say over the weekend.
Why don't you give me a chance? That's exactly what's going to happen. Jackie, we have entire men's teams across this country now that are turning trans.
Yeah.
Women's teams, they're turning trans. And that's going to be a situation where it's going to pick up speed because these woke globalists are pushing these kids to say, if you can't compete in men's sports, let's just transition and say you're a woman and participate in women's sports. It is dead wrong, and we've got to stand up against it. But the Democrats, they're all in.
That is what Tommy Tuberville is focused on over the weekend. Not the fact that so many Americans in this country are struggling, not the fact that we've had record lows since COVID in basically every facet of our economy. But Tommy Tuberville doesn't want to talk about that. They still want to talk about banning books and drag queen reading. They still want to talk about critical race theory. They want to talk about things that are certainly not on most Americans' minds right now. Most Americans' minds right now is the economy, their job, many people that are struggling, that are living paycheck to paycheck, people that can't afford groceries. Remember, Donald Trump made those promises. A lot of people want to talk about the war in Ukraine still going on when Donald Trump said it'd be over in 24 hours. You know, I guess he's just taking his time. Or what's going on with the Israel-Palestinian conflict. You know, these are really important issues, not just to the United States of America, but to the world. But Tommy Tuberville doesn't want to talk about that. Somehow he thinks that women in sports are turning to trans teams. And by the way, there's like 6,000 or 7,000 there's about 13 or 14 trans athletes in Division I college athletics altogether. But this is what Tommy Tuberville wants to talk about. This is what MAGA Republicans want to talk about. When it comes to the economy, nothing to see here, folks. Everything's going to be just fine. We're going to go through a little bit of pain, but everything's going to be okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by, of course, former CNN anchor and my friend Don Lemon from the Don Lemon Show. He's going to be joining us next. You know, I want to ask Don because he took some flack with some comments he made on the Bill Maher podcast. He said that black rational MAGA people do not exist. So I'm going to ask him about that. It'll be his first chance to be doing this on another program to talk about it publicly. So I'm going to ask him about that. And Jake Tapper over the weekend was questioned by a MAGA on the far right and called him a liberal, and he said, I'm not on the left. So, former Don Lemon's former colleague, so I want to ask him about that as well. Don Lemon joining us next. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. It's Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and food. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part? Every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at RadioYOU101.com.
The ultimate Vegas extravaganza with Terry Fader. One man, 100 voices, 1,000 laughs. Come experience an immersive journey of comedy, music, and parody songs as Terry Fader, the world's top ventriloquist, takes center stage at the Strat Hotel Casino and Tower. Be prepared to be mesmerized by Fader's incredible talent as he brings to life a cast of characters who showcase the iconic songs that define the soundtrack of our lives. Terry Fader, one man, 100 voices, 1,000 laughs.
Clear Sky Resorts invites you to experience the future of luxury glamping at their newest resort, opening August 1st, 2024 near Bryce Canyon. Guests at the first and only glass-domed stargazing resort in the U.S. will be immersed in the stunning scenery of the resort's private 80-acre canyon, both indoors and out, and nights in your sky dome will be like sleeping in an aquarium of stars. Located in Cannonville, Utah, on scenic Byway 12, voted one of the most scenic roads in America, the resort will feature lots of fun on-resort activities, as well as one of the world's largest glass-domed restaurants. To book your reservation, please call 1-888-704-4445 or visit clearskyresorts.com.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Very busy news day, and of course, we have some big guests lined up for you the rest of the week. Before I get to the YouTube Super Chat, we want to thank our friends at Jackson's Bar and Grill, the official gaming bar of the PTL radio show. Of course, home of the Pass the Puck contest, where you can win up to $500 in free slot play. But just as important, if not more, is their home of the $20 ribeye steak. It hasn't, the price hasn't raised in literally 8 years. You get a side and vegetables. Oh my God, it's so good. I had one over the weekend. It is delicious. Please check them out. Great food, great atmosphere. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. I do want to get to the YouTube Super Chat, where, of course, anybody there with a donation, your questions and comments are read live on the air. You could also go to my website at pushingthelimits.live, where you can make donations on there as well. And again, that's pushingthelimits.live. All right, let's go to the YouTube Super Chat, shall we? And let's check that out. Okay, so let's go to, I don't know why my laptop, it's so blurry. I don't know what's going on with my laptop right now, but okay, now it's back. Roxy says, so who went to hands-off protest on Saturday? I did, and it was on fire in my red country. Woohoo. Well, Roxy, that's what I've heard. I've heard that there's a lot of people that went to a lot of these peaceful protests over the weekend, and from what I hear, it was a smash hit, and everything went extremely well. So I'm really happy to hear about that. And listen, I think more of this is to come. I really do, in the coming days, weeks, months, maybe even years. Peter Boot says, you can wear a blood pressure monitor and let its value rotate in the image. Think it sometimes has to go through the roof with MAGA callers. I love your show. Well, thank you, Peter, and I greatly appreciate your support. All right, what I want to do is I want to go to some phone calls, and we'll do that right now. This is the time where I want you to call in. What do you make of the fact that Donald Trump is out there playing golf, and he's hanging out at his golf course at Doral in Florida, and then he's in the Senior Club Championship, and the White House is talking about that. Again, stocks are down. The Dow is down. People are struggling. People are losing their jobs, and Donald Trump is hanging out with the L.A. Dodgers today. That's right. So Donald Trump is back in D.C. working really hard for the American people. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. And again, that number is 702-221-7283, which is the number to call. All right, who we going to do first here as I go to my my producer? Who we going to do first, Numchuck? I'll let you decide. All right, let's go to David. David is first up on PTL. Hey, David, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's on your mind, David?
Well, I'm all for, for Biden. For Biden and Kamala and all that. It's so sad. This is what I wanted to make. You would think that these idiots who voted for Trump, you would think that we would learn our lesson since we went to Iraq. We were supposed to get Obama. We were supposed to get, Osama Balama, whatever. We were supposed to get him. Then we got Saddam Hussein. You would think that we would learn from the Iraq War that we killed over 5,000 troops, mission accomplished. You would think these voters think that they voted for an idiot like Bush, that they would learn their lesson not to vote for another stupid Republican, that we would go through the same crap or the same shit like we're going through now. You would think that. But since we didn't learn our lessons through Iraq, then we voted for Trump, and then we killed 1 million people through COVID. The same idiots that voted for Bush voted for Trump.
Yeah.
And the same people that voted for Trump again voted for him twice.
Agree.
And they haven't still learned their lesson.
Well,
so
I agree.
Their damn lesson. It pisses me off.
It pisses me off too, and I agree with you. I'll take it a step further. If we go back in time, my friend, you look at Bill Clinton, and people can talk about his personal life and mistakes that he made, but the reality of the situation is he left office and he left us with a surplus. Okay, and then George W. Bush got us into an ill-advised war. He lit the economy on fire in a bad way. And then when you look at Barack Obama, over 8 years, had to pick up the pieces, and he left Donald Trump in his first administration a really good, thriving economy. And then Donald Trump ruined it. Now, you could say, well, Brian, it was COVID. Well, okay, but look at how Donald Trump handled COVID. I would give the guy an F- the way he handled COVID. And then you had Joe Biden come along and say Democrats saving our asses again. And in 4 years, he left Donald Trump a thriving economy. But if you listen to Caroline Leavitt in the White House, they'll say that the economy was in shambles. It wasn't. It's in shambles right now. Right now, it's in shambles. Listen, some of these people are so far gone. They can lose their job. They could lose their 401k. They could lose their Social Security. They could lose their Medicare, and they would still vote for Donald Trump. They're insane. These people.
Unbelievable. I can never think that. There's a difference between being stupid and being ignorant. And, that is the worst thing. You would think that these people saying, well, they would get their head out of their asses after, if I voted, let me just put it hypothetically. If I voted for Bush and I knew that he killed about 5,000 troops and then we didn't find no weapons of war or whatever like this, we didn't find anything there, I would have said, okay, 5,000 troops, that's enough. I'm not voting for this party ever again. But these same people that voted for Bush is voting for the same idiots all the way through.
You're right.
And these people and what about the people that are in the office right now in the midterms? You know what they're going to do? This is what they're going to do. So that way they can get reelected again. They're going to say, well, hey, I wasn't part of this Trump train. Hey, I'm all for it. I disagree what he's doing. So they can get reelected. And the same idiots are going to believe these stupid idiots in the midterm, going to vote for the stupid people in the midterm that are Republicans so they can get reelected to support his. Please, people, stop it. Stop it and stop voting for these Republicans because you're creating a bigger mess, a bigger hole that we have to dig ourselves out of, all because of the mess that you put us in.
The problem,
Don't vote for
I agree with you.
Get the Democrats in and get control of the House and the Senate. That's all I want.
I agree, Dave, and I do appreciate your call. The problem is you're dealing with a cult following. You are dealing with a cult. And when you're dealing with a cult, you can't reason with these people. They can't separate fact from fiction. They see Donald Trump as the next Messiah, which is why I call him Cheeto Jesus, because they see him as this king. They don't care that he is a wannabe dictator. They don't care. Now, there are some situations where they're losing their jobs or maybe some of their family members are being deported. Yes, that is possible, where maybe they'll change their mind. But I think a lot of these people are just such cultists and they can't admit that they made a mistake, that they will follow the leader, the orange orangutan, wherever he goes, my friend. I appreciate your call. I just got a message from Don Lemon. He's in the air, but he's going to be chiming in here, hopefully when he lands, and we'll be getting him. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Mark. Mark is calling out of Pennsylvania. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Brian. Good afternoon.
Hi, Mark.
There's a couple of things I like to address, and one of them is really aggravating because I keep repeating it over and over. And I know you can't push back on everything a guest says, only a few things, but it just aggravates me so much. The first thing I want to talk about is that guy Pollock, who was on, I believe, on Friday.
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
Your guest?
Yes.
Look at what Biden did and all this, because you brought up how come Trump didn't attend the funerals or the accepting the bodies. He's playing golf.
Right.
When the were killed, and he didn't know nothing about it. So he brought up the fact that, well, look at what Biden did with the pullout of Afghanistan, and all those soldiers were killed.
Yep.
And I keep repeating it over and over, and I kind of expected you to say something. This was Trump's plan. Biden never was briefed. He never got a briefing as the president-elect. He came into office blind, and he had to carry out the Trump's order that was already in effect.
Well, listen.
So Trump left and left Biden with a huge mess.
Well, listen, we can get into the weeds on this, but I'll oversimplify it perhaps. Donald Trump only
There's
cares.
one more thing I want to say.
Okay, I got you. Donald Trump only cares
Sure.
about himself, and a perfect example of that are his actions and behaviors every day. You had 4 soldiers, brave soldiers, who lost their lives in Lithuania, and the politicians and the people in power in Lithuania showed those soldiers more respect than our own president of the United States, who decided it would be more important for him to hang out with the Saudis and the Live Golf Tour on his golf course in Doral. And he decided that him making money was more important than honoring these fallen soldiers. And then all these MAGA buffoons want to talk about Joe Biden taking a half a second looking at his watch, and remember how much they were up in arms over that. But yet Donald Trump can skip out on honoring these fallen soldiers and hanging out and playing golf, and you don't hear anything from these MAGA morons. It's crickets.
And you're exactly right, Brian. And the screaming of that, oh my God, Obama wore a tan suit. The stuff that went on Fox after that. But the last thing I want to mention, Brian, is that, see, these Republicans are not stupid. They know that when all this happens, like when Biden came in after Trump left office, Trump started that evacuation. Trump did this, Trump that.
Yes.
It really doesn't take effect until the Democratic president gets in. And then everything hits and they blame it on the sitting president when, in fact, it was all due to the previous administration. That's how they get away with this shit.
Well, they certainly are getting away with a lot. There's no question about that. And I appreciate the call, Mark, and you're absolutely right. Listen, if that doesn't anger you, I know it angers you, Mark. You served, and I appreciate you. If it doesn't anger you as an American that Donald Trump decides to play golf and mingle with the Saudis on his golf course so he can make a profit, and that's more important to him, that's more important. That's literally more important to him than honoring our brave men and women in uniform, then I have a serious problem with that. All right, we're all good. 702-221-7283. It's going to take some more phone calls. Don Lemon's going to be joining us in about 20 minutes or so. He's in the air right now. Let's go to CJ, who's calling in out of Louisiana. Hey, CJ, what's going on, man?
Hey, I heard you talking about the cult, as I call it, the cult of Krasnov, because code name Krasnov, the name he was given when by the Soviet recruiter. There's something I want you to look up. If you go to Amazon, you may have seen this before. If you go to Amazon and type in Helgard, Helgard, Mueller, M-U with an umlaut, if you know how to type that, L-L-E-R, and then president. Or you know what book I'm referring to?
I believe I've heard of this before. Yes, I have. In fact, I think other people have called in to discuss this. Yep. I have.
Okay. Yeah, I've missed several of your shows. I didn't know if somebody had covered this or not. Mm-hmm. But it's like, wow.
Well, listen, the times that we are living in today, here's what I will say. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is going to make you or anybody else feel better, but the Republicans have to own this. You can't blame Joe Biden for this anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Everything that's happening right now to our economy is directly involved with Donald Trump and these tariffs. I mean, let's make no mistake about it, okay? And people are suffering in this country, not because of Democrats, not because of liberals, not because of Joe Biden or Pete Buttigieg or George Soros or Barack Obama. It's directly because of Donald Trump. Now, they keep saying, nothing to see here, folks. Don't worry about it. Egg prices are not down since day one when Trump took office. Grocery prices are not down. Gas prices are not down. The war in Ukraine is still ongoing. The Israel-Palestinian conflict is as bad as it's been in a very, very long time. And you can't blame Democrats anymore. I mean, they might try to, but I think hopefully most of America is not. How could you buy it at this point, right?
Yeah. Just one thing about that book that I mentioned, though. The author says he was, apparently actually was, at least 2 of Krasnov's rallies in 2023. And he was promoting it.
I'll definitely look into that, my friend, and I really do appreciate your call, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. 702-221-7283. Don Lemon's going to be joining us in hour number 2. Let's go to Chris. Chris is calling out of North Carolina. Hi, Chris. What's going on?
Not a whole lot.
I was listening to your callers, and I commend them for their memories. I am truly despondent over the fact that people don't remember what happened. It kills me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The fact that he was found guilty of interfering in an election, and they're still willing to blame Joe Biden for stealing an election.
Right.
Makes no sense to me.
Well, I mean, it makes. I hear what you're saying, but here's why it makes sense to me. Donald Trump will never admit he's lost anything. His ego is so fragile, and there are so many of his followers that are so ill-informed and uneducated. So you put those two together, this is what we get. We get something called January 6th. We get attacks on our democracy. He's the only president in our lifetime who has never conceded an election. Al Gore conceded. He used his,
unbelievable.
Yeah, eventually Al Gore conceded. Obviously, Kamala Harris did. Hillary Clinton.
Kamala Harris, same situation.
You know what gets me angry about that? I want to ask you something, because I did the Pierce Moore. Well, I did the show a couple times last month, and Michael Knowles, who I think is a right-wing imbecile, he says, well, Hillary was an election denier. I said, how so, Michael? Oh, well,
it makes no sense. She conceded.
That's what I said on the show. But his argument, she said he was illegitimate. Let me explain to some of you MAGA clowns out there the difference. I think Donald Trump is illegitimate. When he said he didn't respect John McCain because he was captured, that should have made him illegitimate.
No.
Hillary's never said the election was stolen. She never said the election was rigged.
He led an insurrection on this country.
Obviously, I agree with you, but
everyone memory hold it.
You understand
you
understand the difference here, and these MAGA morons want to compare Hillary Clinton as some sort of election denier, which she's not. Okay, she conceded. When she called him illegitimate, she was talking about his behavior, not a rigged election. To this day, Donald Trump still says the 2020 election was rigged, which it wasn't. Why is it that they
There's
can't?
absolutely no proof of that.
Of course,
but
there's
yet,
none.
He lost in court when it came to finances of his campaign,
right?
Which to me equals interference in an election.
Agree.
You know?
Yeah. No. Listen.
How do you deny that?
Well, listen. That's why we
and
call
he was
them
found guilty.
I agree. That's why we call them election deniers. I mean, that's why we call them that, my friend. I appreciate your call. You're making sense. Sadly, a lot of these MAGA supporters don't make much sense at all these days. 702-221-7283. Anybody on MAGA is welcome to call in as well. Love to have a conversation with you, and you could tell me what you think about where the economy's at right now. What do you think about that? All right, let's go to Terry, who's calling out of Maryland. I just recently became close friends with somebody out of Maryland, so I'm going to have to get out there one of these days. What's up, Terry?
Hi, Brian. Always good to have a good friend in Maryland. First of all, to Trump, hands off the Penguins, please. And lastly, when he was not spending quality time with his salty buddies playing golf, he apparently was spewing some lies on one of his posts saying that George Soros was giving money to people to be in these protests.
Yeah.
And supposedly he gave out 100. Well, I can tell you, Brian, I was at the protests and I didn't get paid. Where's my check?
They say the same thing about January 6th. Remember in the hours and days after January 6th, they said they were all Antifa that was responsible, and these were paid liberal actors. I heard the same thing with BLM protests. I mean, listen, they will lie and they will throw things at a wall and hope that it sticks when they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, or they know what they're talking about and they're intentionally lying. George Soros wasn't paying a bunch of people to show up at rallies across the country. The good Americans like yourself in this country were showing up in full force because they care about this country, they care about our democracy, and they're not going to let this orange orangutan trying to take us all down. That's why people showed up.
Oh, yeah. And I tell you what, I live in a small red county, and there were some remorseful people there that were not Democrats that attended this rally, too.
They should be remorseful, but it doesn't mean I entirely forgive them either, my dear.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I appreciate your call. I'll be out there in Maryland soon. I have a feeling. Thank you for the phone call. So it is interesting now that I saw someone on TikTok that just made a really funny statement. He said, now all of a sudden Donald Trump supporters are trade and stock experts too. Yeah, if they're not infectious disease experts or they're experts when it comes to trans issues, they're experts when it comes to the stock market. I mean, they're just a bunch of idiots and they're ill-informed, uneducated people. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Roddy. Roddy is calling out of Las Vegas. Hello, Roddy.
Hi. So we got in the car and we turned it on, and your radio station was the first one that came up, and we were listening to it for a little bit. I just want to say it was so funny when you said Cheeto Jesus and Orange Orangutan.
I've got a few others. Orange Turd is another one that I use from time to time.
Oh my God,
yeah.
that's hilarious.
Yeah. So that, listen, if you have any new nicknames you want to share with me, I'm open ears. I really am.
Yeah, we call him the Orange Menace.
And the Orange Menace. I like the Orange Menace. I like Orange Orangutan a little bit better, but I think it's an insult to orangutans, so maybe I shouldn't use that anymore. But listen, he's a guy that wakes up in the morning. He puts on 8 layers of orange makeup with his girdle, his 4 hair transplants, his fake teeth. And I keep telling people, if he keeps putting on that orange makeup and those fake tans and he keeps getting browner, he might deport himself from the country. Uh-oh, I hear people in the background laughing. I think we have an audience here.
I got one. Yeah, I'm here with my family.
Oh, well.
I got one for you.
Who's that? Is that your mom? Who is that? Who is that? Is that your mom?
So I'm here with my mom and my little brother.
I am. Okay, I'll try to be PG-13 with your little brother, okay? Let's keep
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah. Let's keep Matt Gaetz away from the kids. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sharp Cheddar Man.
Say it again. Oh, Sharp
Cheddar Man.
I like that one. I might steal that one. Do I have permission to steal that?
Yes.
Can I ask the mom one question, and I'm going to try not to be inappropriate here.
Yeah.
Can you describe the hell that Stormy Daniels had to go through for 13 seconds?
I don't want to.
All right.
I feel bad for her.
Yeah, I do as well. All right. Well, if you guys have any more nicknames, please call back. Okay, you're welcome to.
Yes, of
All right.
course.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you. You too. I'm glad people in Las Vegas are old school. They're listening to the radio. I love that. Yes, we are on an FM AM radio station in Vegas, folks. In case you didn't know, that was fun. 70. Thank you, Roddy, for the call. 702-221-7283. I couldn't go further with that Stormy Daniels question. There was a child in the car. Okay, keep Matt Gaetz away. Okay. Keep Matt Gaetz away. 702-221-7283. Dimitri, I believe, is calling out of Florida. Hello, Dimitri.
Hello, Brian. How are you doing? How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing good, Dimitri. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind today?
Well, I've been turned on. Well, I shouldn't say turned on, but I've been brought to your show because, well, maybe my wife will be turned on. But
Fair. I don't want to do that to you, sir. Go right ahead.
But first of all, I want to say they should have hung Mike Pence.
Whoa. Stop. Why would you make a statement like that?
Because I've been pre-programmed to listening to Trump.
Okay, hold on. Are you being serious or are you joking? Well, this is not a joking topic. Hold on a second, sir. With all due respect, I don't know if you're joking or not. I don't know you. When people make a statement like hang Mike Pence, that's a serious thing. That's a threat.
I should have said, no, sir. I don't mean that by any means. I don't have a violent bone in my body. Never.
So why would you say that then? So why would you say that then?
Well, I was just repeating talking points that have been.
Okay, well, let's not repeat talking points. Are you a MAGA supporter, yes, sir? Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me why. Let's not do talking points. I want to hear from you. I want to get your opinion, and I appreciate you calling in. Are you happy with where the economy is right now? I mean, do you think things are going well?
Oh, you had to start with that, of course.
Well, of course I'm going to start with that. It's kind of important, don't you think? People are losing their jobs across the country. The Dow has plummeted. Stock market has plummeted. People are suffering, right? I think that's a fair question to ask, is it not?
It is.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I appreciate your honesty. What What about his behavior? I'm trying to figure out why you voted for him to begin with. What was it about Donald Trump that you said, I can't vote for Kamala Harris?
Okay, I'm trying. Okay, why?
Yes, sir.
Because all the United States presidents have been men, and
all the United States presidents have been men, and that's the first thing you bring up as to why you voted for Donald Trump, because he's a man, because he has a penis?
Well, I didn't actually think of it like that.
Well, you're saying he's a man, and clearly that's important to you, and you're basically saying that if you're a woman, I will not vote for you because of what is between your legs. That is what you're saying, sir. Are you saying women aren't capable or can't possibly lead a country because they're a woman? Is that what you're saying? Help me understand, sir. If I'm wrong, please tell me. The first thing you said as to why you voted for Donald Trump was not a policy. It was because he's a man. I find that very interesting.
Okay, so I'll put it to you like this.
Okay.
Right. I bring home the paycheck, and I allocate a certain amount to my wife to do what she needs to do around the house.
That's your situation. That's your situation. Not every family has. In fact, there are plenty of women that bring home the dough. So that's your situation. That would you? So are you? I don't understand. What does that have to do with it?
Well, because in the history of the United States, the men have brought home the bacon.
Is that going on right now? So because in the history of the United States, at one point, black people were able to be owned, does that give you a reason not to vote for a black man?
No, I would never agree with that.
Okay, so don't talk to me about the past. I don't care what happened right now in this conversation 60 or 70 years ago. We're talking about 2025, and quite frankly, sir, with respect, I don't care who brings home the bacon in your family, because there's plenty of women out there that make a lot more money than I make and probably a lot more money than you make. So that is irrelevant. Tell me why you didn't vote for Kamala Harris, and don't tell me because she's a woman, because with respect, sir, that's a misogynist statement, and quite frankly, you should be better than that. So give me some real reasons why you... I find it very troubling that that's the first thing you brought up, man. But I'll ask you again. Give me some real, if you can, legitimate reasons why you didn't vote for Kamala.
Okay. I've been here multi-generations, 3-4 generations, and I've always, my family's always provided.
You're going, you started the conversation with talking points, openly admitted that, and you're doing it again. Stop talking about the past. Kamala Harris was the attorney general. Kamala Harris was a senator. She was the vice president. So I don't need to hear about how successful you are. Give me something about Kamala Harris and the reason why you didn't vote for her, and then give me a Donald Trump policy that you like. And don't say it's because he's a man, sir. Come on, you could do better than that. At least I hope you can. Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
Thank you, Brian. Well, and unfortunately, I'm going to bring up an old talking point. Kamala slept her way to the top.
No, she didn't. Why would you say she slept her way to the top?
I mean, that was a running news cycle.
That was running. No. Just because some right-wing idiots make statements like that you just made doesn't make it true. Give me specific reasons why you say she slept her way to the top.
I couldn't.
You couldn't. So why would you say something so stupid then? Why would you say something like that? The guy who you voted for has been with so many women out there. By the way, 25 women have accused him of assault. Liable abuse. He's a liable sexual abuser. He has 5 kids with 3 different women. He's never been honorable to one woman. He had unprotected sex with a porn star 2 weeks after Barron was born. Yet you want to make an unsubstantiated claim that she slept her way to the top, and even you admit that you can't prove it and you don't know. You heard it on some news cycles. Sir, give me a break. Is this a serious call?
If I may add one last point.
Yeah, if you could make one that makes sense, I would appreciate it.
It's like that 70s skit from Saturday Night Live. We're 2 wild and crazy guys. Guys rule the world.
Okay, so you're just going to call in and be a misogynist, right? Is that what you're going to do? Is this the way you talk to your wife? Is this the way you live your life? Are you?
Well,
Why don't you just admit you're a misogynist? Because now I'm at the point. Now I'm at the point where I believe you are just a misogynist bigot. I've given you multiple opportunities to come up. Can you name me one Trump policy you like? Name me one. Forget about your hatred towards women for a moment, because you're probably a 65-year-old virgin. Name me one thing that you like under Donald Trump, an actual policy. Can you do that, sir? Can your brain allow you to do that?
Actually, no.
So you called into this show. You can't name one Trump policy you like. I asked you why you voted for Donald Trump. You say because he's a man, and then you claim Kamala slept her way to the top. Unsubstantiated. You can't come up with any evidence, self-admittingly, to admit that. You brag about how you bring all the money in your By the way, I don't believe you now. You probably don't. You're probably on unemployment. You probably are jobless, and you probably live off your wife. That's what I'm starting to believe here, sir. How can I take this phone call seriously? You sound like you're an ignoramus, and quite frankly, you sound like you've treated women. Either women have treated you horribly because you're a douchebag, which I'm thinking that probably is true, or you're a guy that women pay no attention to for obvious reasons. I don't know. I mean, I guess women have good taste in men, clearly, because I don't think you've probably ever been with a woman before. But with that off to the side, sir, I'm going to give you one more opportunity because I'm in a good mood today. I really am. You might be putting me in a bad mood, but I'm in a good mood today. Can you name me?
Apologize.
Well, listen, don't apologize to me. Apologize to all the women for being so stupid and making misogynist comments. Okay. If you have some policy disagreements of Kamala, I'm open ears, fair conversation. I might not agree with you, but that's okay. We can have that conversation. But when you call into a radio show and you make such absurd statements like that, here's what I'm going to do for you, sir. Okay. I'm going to give you a gift. Would you like a gift, sir?
I don't believe I need one.
No, I think you do. So Darlene is a regular caller to this show. She happens to be a woman and an intelligent woman, and she has something she would like to say to you, sir. If you go ahead, Darlene, you're on. Go ahead. PG. Yeah.
I've just been waiting. Sir, you are complete jackass. Do you hear me? And I tell you what, if you'd ever been brought up with a woman like me, your mouth wouldn't be like that. You are a complete idiot.
Sir, would you like to respond to that?
Yes, sir. Yes, Brian, and yes, Miss Darlene.
Go ahead.
I was actually just saying, I'm a Democrat full and through, and I was raised by my mom. I love you guys.
Okay, I don't believe you.
Oh my God!
I don't believe you, sir. I really don't believe him. He's not
actually.
No, I don't. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. I don't believe him. Here's what I think happened, Darlene. I think he got caught. He said a lot of stupid things. And then when he realized he couldn't defend his misogyny, because if he made those statements on a Republican show or a right-wing echo chamber show, they would have nodded their head. Yep, you're right, sir. Yep, you're right. Sean Hannity, Mark Levin. But that's not me. I won't do that. So then when we pointed out his misogyny and you gave it to him, he gave up. And he said, guys, I'm really a Democrat. I'm really on your side. No, let me tell you something. If you were on my side, you wouldn't be talking like that about Kamala Harris. If you were on my side, you wouldn't be making jokes about Kamala sleeping her way to the top. If you were on my side, you wouldn't be saying the things you were saying on this show. He got caught.
Yeah. Brian, I was going to call in and say it was your lucky day because we're going to have a 2-for-1 special, but now it's 3-to-1. I want the innocent man over in the prison. He needs to come back, and I'm going to give you that man, Don Jr. and Eric. We'll do a trade, and y'all can have 3 of them.
Don Jr. and Eric, as I like to call them, Uday and Kusei. Darlene, it's always good to hear from you, my friend. You scared off our caller. He couldn't deal with you, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to deal with that either. But then again, I'm not a misogynist pig. Darlene, it's good to hear from you, and I appreciate that.
Love you guys.
I love you
Bye.
too, Darlene. Thank you. Go to the YouTube super chat real quickly. Reaver said, more people were at the hands of protest than there were at the January 6th, and yet not a single act of violence for MAGA to clutch their pearls over. Reaver, that is a really good point that you just made, actually, and you're right about that. I agree with you 150%. All right, let's get back to the calls. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Sarge. Sarge is calling out of Georgia. Hey, Sarge, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, it's so good to speak with you, my friend.
Thank you.
And I don't know how I can follow Darlene. I mean, he really smacked him in the head, and rightfully so. Well, okay, here we go. Felon 47, what does he do? He doesn't go and honor the 4 dead soldiers who, Lithuania, thank goodness, they honored them. No, what does he do? He goes and plays golf.
Yes,
wow.
he did. Yes, he did.
Isn't that wonderful? And I also got a couple of nicknames for the knothead in chief. Felon 47, which I just said, the Mango Moose Knuckle, and the Mango Mussolini. And that's what I have to say. And
I like
so
those.
good to speak with you.
It's good to speak to you too, my friend. Those are some good ones. I might have to use those. Hey, I appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you so much. By the way, for any MAGAs out there that would like to give it a try and call in, I hope you're better than that last guy. Holy smokes. That guy was very, very special, ladies and gentlemen. 702-221-7283. We are going to Canada, eh? Let's go to Yvonne, who's calling out of Canada. Hey, Yvonne.
Hey, Brian, thank God for Darlene. I was in awe when that guy was speaking. I could not believe there was such a moron speaking on your show.
Yeah.
I have 2 things. First of all, Besant, whatever his name, does he have a stutter, or was he just having problems answering the question?
I think
that he was.
I think
asked?
you know the
He
answer
was
to that.
Trying to
he struggles.
He was. Yeah, well, he was trying to defend the tariffs and say they were a good thing, and he just stuttered right through that. It drove me crazy.
Well, that's what they do.
The other thing
they develop a stutter when they can't answer direct questions.
Exactly. The other thing I'd like to tell the rest of your listeners is the rest of the world can't trust the U.S. anymore. Even when Trump leaves office, we can't trust the population not to vote in another moron like him. So I'm really sorry for that. But we're going to trade with other people. We're going to fix our problems that this trade stuff is causing without you. And I feel bad for you.
I do as well. And I completely, you bring up such a wonderful point calling out of Canada, in that it's not just the economic collapse, right? It's all about trust down the road and trust in the future. It's kind of like, you can make an analogy to, you're in a relationship and somebody cheats on you, and the person can say, "Oh my God, I'll never do it again. I'm so sorry." But do you trust that person again? And in a sense, this is what's going on at least when Donald Trump is president, right? Can you trust this guy? No, I don't think anybody can trust him. So I think you make a very valid point there.
There's another thing.
Yeah.
There's another thing. The F-35s that we have on order, we're required to take 16 of them.
Yes.
But we have a contract that would have had us buy 88 of them. We're not going to, because of what Trump said. When he was announcing the F-47, whatever, new airplane, whatever, he said that he was going to give us or not good planes. I can't even think the word right now.
Yeah.
And of course, we have a fear that the computer stuff won't be upgraded or could be shut off while we're using the airplanes. So we don't want them anymore.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I agree with you. And, listen, these are all things that we need to understand, my dear. And I appreciate you calling in out of Canada. Thank you so much. It's good to hear from you. Thank you to the Sentient for your donation on the YouTube Super Chat. We appreciate you very much so. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Don Lemon's going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour, so you're certainly going to want to stay tuned for that. I think we're going back to Canada, right? If I'm not mistaken. Let's go to Brad, who's also calling out of Canada. We got a lot of listeners out of Canada. Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, good to talk to you. I'm only a recent fan. I just want to say I love what you do. I love watching you and listening to you guys.
You
guys are awesome.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to make a quick, comment about that human Cheeto that's in charge of things down there.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to somebody recently, I caught wind of a conversation that made me wonder about why he's purposely tanking these markets, other than the obvious. And I'm no economics major, okay? So let's put that out there right away. I don't know this kind of stuff, but it had me thinking. This guy, you know that your debt is over $1 trillion. The interest payments on your debt. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is over $1 trillion from what I understand. Again, these are numbers that I just hear through the media, so I could be off base. Trump's purposely tanking these markets to drive down the interest rates so that he can give the money away to the rich guys.
So I actually literally, sir, Brad, had a conversation with somebody about this very topic this morning as I was driving into work. Donald Trump always has a scheme so that he can benefit in some way or another. He doesn't care about the American people. He only cares about himself and maybe a few of his rich friends. There was always a method to his madness, right? I don't usually agree with it, but usually there's always a reason that benefits him. So I completely agree with you. I think there's certainly a reason. He doesn't care about the American people, and he has no problem making sure people suffer so that he can benefit from it. And I really, truly believe these tariffs are another example of it. I really do.
And I wholeheartedly agree. Brian, that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to thank you very much for your time. Keep up the great work.
Canadian fan, Canadians or Maple Leafs, where are you at?
I'm in Saskatchewan, in a little town. You're going to laugh at this. I'm in a town called Elbow.
Elbow? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to remember that. I know there's a really cool bar in downtown Las Vegas called the Elbow Bar. So maybe if you're ever out here in Vegas, I'll buy you a beer at the Elbow Bar. Okay, my friend?
Well, and if you ever get yourself up there, the saying goes, my door's always open. You'll know my house because I'm on Main Street and I fly two flags. One of them says F Trump, hashtag Trump is a criminal. And then the other one says, I could, and I don't know if I can say this.
Don't swear.
S-H-I-T.
Yeah, I got you.
I could crap a better president.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure not to bring my Trump Bible when I come visit you, okay, sir?
Yeah, right. you wouldn't be too welcome with that here.
I don't blame you.
Brian,
Thank
keep
you,
up
sir.
the good work.
Thank you, sir.
I enjoy your show.
I appreciate you, sir. I love my Canadian listeners. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Thank you. 70, that sounds like a guy that I could have a beer with. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Terry, who's calling out of Indiana. What's up, Terry?
Hey, Brian.
How you doing, Terry? What's on your mind?
I'm pretty troubled about everything that's happening right now, and I've talked to you before, I'm trying to even put this into perspective right now.
Yeah.
He will, he puts 60 Minutes, which is basically my God, it's been, how long has 60 Minutes been around? Now he's saying 60 Minutes is his enemy for telling, the truth about things, basically.
Yep. Well, listen, half of his administration the first time around he calls his enemies because they don't support him. So, listen, listen, if you disagree with Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form, you are an enemy. He calls people like me the enemy of the people, the enemy within. This is Nazi talk. So, the bottom line here is that we're going to have to put up with this for another 3.5+ years. We're going to have to do this all together. And it's not going to be easy. I knew it wouldn't, but I didn't think it would be this difficult. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have buyer's remorse. Too bad. They put us in this situation. And we lost this election. When I say we, I mean people that care about democracy, decent human beings. To white women, 54% of white women voted for Donald Trump, which is astounding, while the most educated people in our society, which are black women, 93% of them did not vote for Donald Trump. So I think that tells you something. When you look at the communities out there that are the most uneducated, they vote red. Take that for what you will. It's a fact. The most uneducated areas in this country vote Republican, and they voted for Donald Trump. That is just a fact. That's not an opinion.
Yeah, I agree completely. I guess I always lean towards, the Democrats, but, I'm actually independent. I've never fucking pulled, excuse my language there. I've never pulled a straight ticket, ever, I've always tried to look at my candidates and try to figure out who's the best for the job.
No question,
Okay?
and that's the way everybody.
Whether
That's the way everybody should do it. I'm an independent as well, sir, and I'm very capable of voting for a Republican. I have in the past, but many Republicans I have nothing in common with today. Nothing. They have no replacement plan for Obamacare. They have no answers when it comes to the violence in this country, the weapons. They want to take your Social Security away. Okay, they do. They want to take your health benefits away. As Elon Musk said, it's an entitlement. Okay, they can say they don't want to take it away until the cows come home. They do. Tax breaks to the top 1%. You name it, man. This is not the country that I recognize. All right, who are we going to next here? Let's go to John, who's calling out of New Jersey. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hey, Brad, how are you? Can
Good.
you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah, just want to give you your props first of all. Give you a shout out from the Virgin Islands. Could give Don Lemon a shout out from the Virgin Islands for us. We always listen to you guys a lot, which is pretty cool. Look, I give up hope trying to explain anything to these knotheads. It's like a waste of your time. I mean, I love the way you just keep ripping them a new one. Just keep doing that for me, God. You're so stupid.
They are.
I have kids that not even born yet that actually smarter than these idiots.
I bet.
So if that's the way they want to think, it's best to just keep making fun of the jackasses.
Yeah, I think
But
there's way.
what
I definitely think there's productive ways of doing it. But you're right. We have a lot of very ignorant people in the United States of America that decided to vote for this man. And unfortunately, I've always said this from the beginning. I don't have a problem with people that are uneducated and stupid so long as it doesn't affect me. Well, guess what? All of those people who voted for Donald Trump, it's affecting me now. It's affecting us as a country. It's affecting the world. And guess what? It is 100% on them. If you voted for this man, you put us in this place, and it's not the fault of Democrats. It's your fault. You voted for him. You did this. You better own it.
I feel your pain, bro. Keep ripping them a new one for me. You know what I call him? Actually, my dad, he passed. He called him the same thing. Called him an orange cockroach. He never could get rid of him. So he just called him the orange cockroach strikes again, man.
Yeah, I think that's how most women in their life feel about Donald Trump as well. I agree with you, my friend. Hey, thank you for calling. I really appreciate you. And I want to thank Adam, who made a nice donation from the UK. He said, as someone viewing the outside in the UK, I genuinely feel despair for you. I mean, we are so screwed as you are with Starmer. I am sorry for what you are all going through. On a side note, love your stuff, man, and you really are fighting the good fight. Well, Adam, I really appreciate that. That's really nice of you, and I appreciate your support of the show very much so. Thank you. All right, who are we going to next here? We are going to go to 702-221-7283. We got Don Lemon joining us at the bottom of the hour. Let's go to Ian, who's calling out of California. Hey, Ian, what's going on?
How you doing, brother?
Hey, good. What's on your mind, Ian?
I'm just driving to L.A. from San Francisco with my pit bull.
Oh, cool.
And I'm a liberal, moderate liberal, and I think the freedom of speech country, and I think deporting people because they say something that Trump doesn't like, it's a slippery slope. And I think that the people that are not worried about it don't understand. At some point, they're going to come for your family, not you, but for other people that that are not gang members. And there are people that are not gang members that are now in Venezuela prisons or El Salvador. And I also want to say I believe that Trump doesn't care about the country and he's tearing it down. So then he can blame someone else and then try to build it back up. And it's kind of like, I don't want to say Hitler, but to build something, you got to first destroy something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Listen, Ian, I can understand why I think your phone was cutting out there. I can understand why you would make those references. You look at the behavior of Donald Trump, right? Look at the behavior. Look at the words he used. Look at Stephen Miller. Look at his appearances on Fox News over the weekend. I mean, these are just despicable people. And they will be able to do anything and everything, and they will break the laws of this country. They will have no regard for the Constitution at all. And they will do anything and everything that fits their agenda. And make no mistake about it, as I've said it before on this show, and I will say it again, their agenda is to make America white again. And for all of you MAGAs out there that think I'm wrong, explain to me why they're so, hell-bent on deporting brown people even without due process. But then when it comes to people that maybe overstay their visas from Switzerland, Sweden, they never talk about those people. But Donald Trump tells the brown people to go back to their S-hole countries. Geez, I wonder why that is. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to join the conversation. Let's go to Craig. I believe Craig is calling out of Texas. Hi, Craig. Thanks for calling into PTL. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I want to talk for a minute just about the stock market.
Okay.
And Trump said that the falling stock market a couple of weeks ago is just a buying opportunity.
Right.
But
right.
who's it a buying opportunity for?
It's very true.
The rich. The rich are. If the stock market's falling, someone's selling.
Correct.
The rich are selling and putting cash in the bank.
You are 150% correct. The stock market, the overwhelming majority of it is run by people with an enormous amount of money. No question.
And what they tell everyone with their 401k, oh, just stay in it. In the long run, it'll go up. Stay in it. In the long run, it'll go up. So what they're doing is they're watching people in their 401ks are watching their value fall.
Yeah.
And at some point, they're going to panic and they're going to sell. And who's going to buy their stock then? The rich.
There you go. So do you think that's why Donald Trump is doing this?
Well, that's probably one of the reasons. I don't think he's smart enough to do that on his own.
Yeah.
But I think
True.
that every station you go out to where they talk about the stock market, they'll tell all the small investors, oh, stay in, ride it out. After a while, the stock market will come back up.
Right.
And that may be true 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah.
But what happens in 2 or 3 years? You lose the ability to gain money for 2 or 3 years.
Hey, listen, I think you're onto something, and I agree with you. And I alluded to this earlier. I think there's a reason why Donald Trump is doing this. I think it's going to enrich him and/or enrich many of his tech billionaire friends around him, sir. I'm with you 150%, and I think you're onto something, and I appreciate your call. Let's see. Let's go to Tony. He's calling out of Minnesota, I believe. Hey, Tony, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how are you doing today?
Hey, good, my friend. What's on your mind?
Hey, say I called you a couple times, told you that you were one of my heroes.
Oh, well, that means a lot. I appreciate that.
But you want to go with nicknames? I got a couple for you.
Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Creamsicle Caligula or Velveeta Voldemort.
Those are good.
You choose. Use whatever you want, brother.
I'm going to have
next
to
time
think.
I'm in Vegas. Next time I'm in Vegas, you and I are going to go out on a golf course and maybe have a couple beers out there, and you have a good weekend.
That would be a lot of fun. Just don't invite the orange orangutan, fat obese lard with us. Okay, that's all I ask.
Oh, you mean the winner of the golf tournament?
Yeah,
that
club,
he wins because.
Yeah, don't invite the club champion. Don't invite him. That guy's golf swing is so gross, by the way. And I know there's a lot of people listening that probably don't know a lot about golf, but his golf swing is worse than Charles Barkley. The guy can't
horrible.
The guy can't even swing a golf club. He's so disgusting. I mean, it's just I
have a nasty slice, and I can swing better than that.
I bet you could. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate.
Have a good week,
I
Brian.
appreciate
Thanks for
you
taking my call.
Thank you, my friend. Anytime. Yeah. Have you watched the orange orangutan swing a golf club? It's gross. It's really terrible. All right, let's get back to the phone calls. And let's go to Deborah, who's calling out of Virginia. Hey, Deborah, what's going on?
Hi, I just have one question for you.
Sure.
If you could please explain it to me.
Okay.
Trump is a convicted criminal.
Correct.
I want to know, why is it that we have not put him in jail yet?
Well, simply put, because he won the presidency, my dear. And I know that's not a great answer, but it is the correct answer, I believe. And I believe if Donald Trump didn't win the presidency, there'd be a good chance that he would be in jail. I really believe that. And you know what? Who knows what happens in 4 years from now, but he is a 34-count convicted felon. We know he's a liable abuser. We know that members of his family stole from their own charity. It's a despicable family. He's a despicable person. He will always be a convicted felon and a liable sexual abuser, and there's nothing that anybody can say about it. It was a kangaroo court. Oh, liberal judges. Listen, they can make excuses until the cows come home. He will always be a twice-impeached, 34-count convicted felon, liable sexual abuser, period.
I hope we don't have to wait 3 more years.
Well, I listen, I'm not going to comment on that, but I will say this. He does eat KFC every day and fast food. That can't be good for his heart. But usually douchebags like that live to 120, so I don't know. Let's go to Keith. Keith is calling out of Florida, home of Ron DeSantis. Wow, what a wonderful governor he is. Hey, Keith, what's going on?
Yeah, Governor D. Satan.
That's what I call him. Listen, before I say anything else, I want to preface what I'm going to say by saying that I am an Army veteran. I served from 1975 to 1978. So Carter was president when I got out. And I'm glad Trump did not go to Andrews Air Force Base to view the bodies coming in. I'm glad he didn't go. That would have been a disgrace.
Okay. So, by the way, thank you for your service. I appreciate you. You're a hero. Let me ask you this. Doesn't it bother you more, though, that Donald Trump decided to hang out with Saudis on his golf course at Doral? That has to bother you as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that does bother me, but like I said, being an ex-military person, it would have been a disgrace for him to show up.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well,
but, like I said, I'm a veteran, so
I might have a different take on this. I understand why you would say that, but just
let me tell you something else. I watched them arrive on my TV, and when they started hauling the bodies off the plane, I stood up and saluted.
Well, that's what you should do if you're a true patriot and a real American. But hear me out on this, okay? So, listen, we know that he dodged the military. We know that he called people like you suckers and losers. We know that he has no regard or respect for our military and our brave men and women who served and are still serving. With that being said, no matter how much we might dislike the president and despise him, the president of the United States needs to be at those events, whether we like him or not. That's my opinion. And the fact that he was hanging out with Saudis and cared more about making money and playing golf than he did about respecting our brave men and women in uniform who paid the ultimate price is a testament to what a despicable human being he is. A despicable human being.
That just shows you what kind of human being he is. That right there, in a nutshell, shows you what type of human being he is. He has no respect for anybody other than himself.
Yeah.
And his family, and like previous caller said, there's some reason he's tanking this stock market. He's going to benefit off of that somehow.
Can I ask you one more? I agree with you, by the way. Can I ask you one more question? What would you say to other brave members of our military, those who have served, who voted for Donald Trump, maybe even for a third time? We know that there are people out there that served, that support Donald Trump. What would be your message to them as somebody who served?
Brian, he got 64% of the military vote.
I don't understand that.
And as far as I'm concerned, I used to call those people my brothers and sisters in arms. They're not anymore.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. They're not my brothers and sisters in arms. They're against my arms.
Yeah.
That's probably not the right way to say that, but
no. But listen, I understand your frustration, and I want your voices. You always have a platform on this show, my friend. You're a hero. And I can't say I disagree with anything you said, and I appreciate your phone call. Thank you, sir. You have a wonderful rest of your day. You are a hero, and because of people like you, I'm able to do what I do on the radio. I want to thank PushingTheLimits.live, going to our website. Emily, thank you for your contribution. We appreciate you, and you are automatically entered in the possibility in our contest to host a segment with me on the show. Also, thanks to Charles, who made a very nice donation on my website as well. Really appreciate you guys. And of course, we're still going strong on the YouTube Super Chat if you'd like to join us as well. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. I think we might have time to grab a few more callers. Let's go to Ray. Ray's calling out of Florida. Hey, Ray, what's up?
Hey, Brian. First of all, I agree with Keith. I served from 53 to 56, so I'm with Keith on all that he said. The orange turd, I got something for you on that.
Okay.
The stuff he rubs on his face reminds me of what my kids left when they were babies in their diapers. Now, if his MAGA followers want to be like him, they could rub it all over them, and they'd be shitheads too.
I like that. That's funny.
By the way, MAGAs, you voted for this moron. Eat it. Just don't take the rest of us down with you.
Yeah, there you go. I agree with you. Many of these people out there that voted for Donald Trump, even some of them that might have buyer's remorse, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear your condolences and apologies and, oh, I made a mistake. But by the way, many of you won't admit that you made a mistake. But for some of you who've had members of your family that have been deported, who didn't think you would go this far, for some of you that have lost their jobs, that may have worked for the government, that have lost their jobs for no reason other than Elon Musk being a douchebag, for those of you that maybe have lost your businesses or your 401ks or your stock market has gone down the crapper, I don't want to hear from you complaining. I'm sorry, I don't. You know what it's like? It's like a drunk driver that wrecks his car. Would you want to hear a drunk driver, who wrecks his car complain about how he has to buy a new car? No, of course you wouldn't, because you would say you put yourself in that circumstance. You decided to drive drunk and put everybody's lives at risk. So you have to buy a new car. Guess what? You shouldn't have gotten into the car drunk. For those of you that are complaining about losing your jobs or your livelihood, the economy, you name it, you're the one who voted for Donald Trump. I don't want to hear from you guys complain. It's your fault. Not you, sir. I'm not talking about you. Did we lose the caller? Oh, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. We lost you for a second.
Man.
Yeah. What all we can do is continue to call it out, right? 702-221-7283 is the number to call. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We'll get some more callers on the other side. I know we have some people waiting on hold. Don Lemon was in the air. We're going to check on his status, and hopefully he landed, and we'll be able to chat it up with Don Lemon a little bit. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you do want to be a part of the conversation. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. It's Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part? Every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at radioyou101.com.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Greenview Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you could be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Monday. Very busy news day. Thank you so much for joining us on what is a depressing day for our economy, a depressing day for so many people in this country that work so hard, and Donald Trump has no problem putting it all to shambles. Don't know why. I think we all could come up with our own opinions on that one. But the guy joining us right now, of course, I grew up watching him on television, and he does a great job. Of course, you know him from his days at CNN, the Don Lemon Show with Don Lemon on YouTube, which is a great show. There he is, Lemon joining us on the program. Don, it is great to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. I think you're in the airport, aren't you?
I'm at the airport. My flight was delayed only for you, Brian.
I appreciate that,
I'm
Don.
waiting for my car, which has gone from 2 minutes to 5 minutes.
Oh,
sitting
geez.
here.
Well,
It's
I'm
crazy.
sorry to hear
Yeah.
that. You're traveling all over the place, man. You got anything important going on? What's going on?
I am doing a conference for Spotify here, for a conference for lawmakers or something. So I won't know until I get there. But I was supposed to get on, leave at 2 o'clock. I ended up leaving, or 1 o'clock. Ended up leaving at 3 o'clock or something like that. I don't even know what time it is.
Well,
So here I am.
Well, I know you're busy, so we'll try to make this quick. Hey, Don, I wanted to start by asking you about this interview you did with Bill Maher on his podcast, and I thought you did a great job, but
No, I'm not getting
unfortunately,
into it.
some of the
Yeah, that is-
shorter parts of the interview went viral, which was when you called MAGA fans that they couldn't be rational. I wanted to give you a chance for you, because I agree with you, by the way. Can you explain that a little bit more into detail, that moment on the Bill Maher podcast when you made that statement?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. It's that I don't understand how people who are African American, who know how the MAGA thing started. The whole impetus of it was, if I get my camera here, so was started on birtherism and show me your birth certificate. And from there, it went to calling black NBA players sons of bitches, and then calling black nations shithole countries, and and wanting the Central Park Five killed. Imagine that of someone who's running, like one of the Central Park Five guys who's running for office now. If it were left up to Donald Trump, he would be dead. So yeah, I don't understand how anybody, especially I don't understand how any African American, any black person is rational. That is not rational thinking to think that you would want to be a member of MAGA, or for me, even to vote for Donald Trump. I think it's just
And DL Hughley and many others had your back on that one, rightfully so. Why do you think so many people were so angry at that statement you made? Why do you think that is?
Well, but I think the truth hurts, and I think that people don't want to admit when they do silly things, or when they're being held accountable for stupid things. And I actually think it's just really silly, and for a black person to even think about it. I don't want to vote for a racist. I mean, why would a black person want to vote for a racist? Oh, he's not racist. Well, the evidence shows that he's racist. So, and many people who are in the MAGA movement, that they're racist. So why would you even want to be a part of that? To me, it's just inexplicable. And I don't see any way that any other person can have any other thought about it than what I said. And to think otherwise, to think that I'm silly or that I'm stupid for thinking that way, I think it's, you're just delusional.
Completely agree with you, Don. Where do you make of where this economy is at right now, and so many people that are struggling and losing their jobs, and just where do you make of where we're at right now as a country, and why do you think Donald Trump is doing this?
I don't know if he even knows why he's doing this. I think that I wrote something about the reason I think he's doing it is out of revenge. I think he's a very vengeful person. He's angry at the world. He doesn't really know how to negotiate. He thinks, tariffs this is something that he has been wanting for a while. This is one of his core beliefs. Before Build a Wall, before all the other bullshit that he spouts, he has believed in tariffs. And if you think about how long, one of his core beliefs, and you think about how long he's believed in it, probably since the 70s or 80s, and look at how he's handled his businesses. He's a person who believes in tariffs, right? And so he's been bankrupt 6 times. This guy bankrupted a casino. Who does that? The house always wins. And so to think that he is a good business person, that he understands our economy, he can be the steward of our economy, is just, excuse me, effing ridiculous. And again, another delusional concept, thought of a MAGA brain person. Is to think Donald Trump is actually knows what he's doing. And also, look, the last time he had people around him who would not allow him to act on his worst inclinations, right? If he had someone around him saying, "Hey, tariffs are great," then Gary Cohn would just tear it up and throw it in the trash can. But now he has people around him who just want to be in power, and they are as ignorant of economics, except for Scott Bessent, who just wants to be the Treasury Secretary.
Yeah.
Now they're just, they're just as ignorant as he is as it relates to the economy. And look at what the markets, look at what's happening. The proof is here.
Yeah. I mean, the definition of ignorant, maybe tariffing penguins. I mean, what do you make of that story? I mean, there are so many, and the signal chat thing. I mean, you want to talk about pure incompetence, right, Don?
The signal chat thing is just utterly ridiculous. And it shows you that the people he put into place are not qualified to be in these positions. It's like a rogues gallery of idiots and frat boys. And they're talking about a merit-based society, and Pete Hegseth qualified to be the defense secretary. Are you kidding me? He's a dummy. Sorry, he's just not smart. And anyone who's on that chat and responding was not smart either. So it just shows you that it's not merit-based. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, under their definition, they're not qualified. And so maybe that's why they're in those positions.
What would you have done if you were put in that signal chat by accident? Would you have responded?
As a reporter?
Or would you have just stayed silent and just taken screenshots? Or what would you have done?
Silence. I would have stayed in there. Yeah, because I would want to get all the information. And they would be wondering why I had such great information. It would just be according to sources close to the investigation.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably would have done this.
Yeah, I don't know why he got out.
Yeah, I would have done the exact same thing. Well, Don, I know you got to run. I appreciate your time. Are you still doing your show coming up at the top?
I am. I'm trying to find my car. I'm still doing the show, but I don't know where my car is. I have no idea. So we'll see.
Well, you know what? That's more important. So I appreciate you taking the time for joining us. Go find your car, Don, because there's a lot of
this might be it.
Okay, good. There's lemon heads out there that are waiting for you at the top of the hour. I'm one of them. So go find your car, Don. We'll talk to you soon.
I'll see you. Thanks.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Don.
Bye.
There you go. That's Don Lemon, everybody. He's got to run. I'm not going to keep asking him questions. He's got to go. But we appreciate Don. His flight was delayed a little bit. And I appreciate him taking the time to join us. I love Don Lemon. He's the best. I think he's awesome. He's really good at what he does. And his Don Lemon show has just been going crazy. It's so many people that watch his show every day. He does 2 shows a day. So he's one of the hardest working people in the business. And we really appreciate. I hope he finds his car, by the way. I do. I might have to Uber Don Lemon. I don't know. 702-221-7283. I want to get back to the phone calls. That was fun having Don Lemon on the show, as he never says no to me. He always comes on whenever I asked him to. Don is the best, so we appreciate him. All right, who are we going to here? Who's our next caller? 702-221-7283. Why don't we go back to New York, right, where D. Lemon lives, right, his home state of New York, and let's go to Phil. Phil's next in New York. Hey, Phil, what's going on, man?
How you doing, Brian?
Good.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey, I wanted your take on the hands-off protests.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're referring to these protests that have taken place throughout the country over the weekend, I would say that I'm impressed with the turnout. I'm also impressed with the fact, to my knowledge, that there were no violent crimes that took place, which is what we want, right? It was for the most part, it was very peaceful. That's another great thing. The opposite of what we saw on January 6th, for example. And I'm really starting to feel a little bit better about support of people on the right side of history than I did, say, 2 months ago. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not still very concerned. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't be concerned about the midterms, but I'm beginning to feel like it's feeling to me that there are some Trump supporters out there that are starting to feel it themselves. And listen, some of these people are very ignorant and very selfish, and their motto is, as long as it doesn't happen to me, as long as I'm good. But a lot of these people are not good now. So I'm beginning to think that some of these people are part of these protests. That's when it's not all liberals and Democrats. That's what I'm starting to think.
Well, I'm from Binghamton, New York, and we had about 1,000 people turn out.
That's a great turnout. That's very encouraging.
I thought so.
Yeah, that's very encouraging. We had a nice turnout here in Las Vegas. Very, very encouraging what I'm seeing, but it doesn't mean that we should drop the ball. We have to continue to fight. I'm going to continue to do this show every day so people like you have a platform here and we can speak our mind and separate fact from fiction. I'm going to hold MAGA accountable. We're going to get it seems like fewer and fewer of MAGA are willing to do this show. They don't want to be questioned. They don't want to be challenged. They see it as an attack. That's who some of these people are, my friend. But I do appreciate your call very much. Thank you so much. And I'm going to take another call from New York. Let's go to Dave. Dave is calling out of New York. Hey, Dave, what's going on?
Hi, Brian. Nice talking to you again.
Thank you.
I got a couple points. I got on a little bit late here, so I hope I'm not going to be repetitive. Trump's approval rating is down below 50% for the first time with Republican surveys. And these are Republican publications, right?
Yep.
I don't know if anybody's brought that up today, but So yes, as you just said to the previous caller, yeah, some of those Republicans, and it doesn't take a whole lot of them, are starting to change their mind, and they're starting to say, "What? Wait a minute," you know. But I wanted to ask about Netanyahu. Have you brought him up today?
So I have not. And
it's about the tariffs.
Yeah. Well, listen. Here's the thing. I haven't seen what took place, but I can tell you that he's probably going to be on board with everything Donald Trump does.
There you go.
Yeah. They both kiss each other's ass. So I haven't heard or seen anything about it. I've been focused on some other stories today.
Yeah.
But I'm just giving you my educated guess that he's never going to question Donald Trump on anything.
Right. And my MAGA debaters that I address, that I call them the posse. They're latching right on to him rescinding tariffs on American products, as to all of Europe and everybody else is going to just follow right in there with that.
Yeah.
So they're grasping at straws right now.
Yeah, that they are. You're right. And they can't blame Joe Biden for everything, right, sir? Can't blame Biden for everything. All right, let's go back to Las Vegas. I'm getting a lot of Vegas callers today. That's nice to see. Let's go to Jason. Jason is next up. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Brian. Nice to talk to you again. I got one nickname for you. Maybe you could turn it into a T-shirt. Okay. Orange Turd 13. Orange Turd 13. How about that?
I like
13 seconds and less.
The 13-second orange turd. I think it's got to start with 13 seconds, and then we're talking about $10,000 per second, right? If my math isn't always great, Jason, but it sounds to me like Donald Trump is quick to the trigger, at least when it comes to porn stars.
Let's make a T-shirt. 13 orange turd. That'd be and make it orange too. That'd be hilarious.
The 13-second orange turd, and then we put a picture of Stormy Daniels next to Donald Trump. I might seriously do that, Jason. If people would buy that shirt, I might actually do that. I'll wear it myself proudly, Jason. Let's go back to Vegas. Let's go to Jay. Jay is calling from Vegas. Hello, Jay.
Hi, good afternoon, Brian. I just want to make one comment, and that is, the United States, since 2 years after the Constitution was adopted, then came the Bill of Rights. The Eighth Amendment forbids the federal government from cruel and unusual punishment. Nevertheless, we see Kristi Noem down in El Salvador prison with the photo op.
How disgusting. What a clown she is. Everything's photo ops with that bitch. I'm sorry, I'm just going to call her that.
But what I'd like all of your listeners to know, the point is, they're openly advertising cruel and unusual punishment.
Yes, they are.
And there's our Constitution being.
Can I ask you about that?
That applies to all of us.
So I agree with you. It's a great point that you made, sir. I want to say this when it comes to Kristi Noem, if she's not murdering, dogs. So she's doing all these photo ops, traveling all over the world on our dime, on taxpayer money. She wears her stupid getup with her hair extensions and her makeup, looking like an imbecile. Can you imagine if AOC did stuff like that? Like if AOC was doing stuff like that, how angry Republicans would be. But yet they have no problem with Kristi Noem with her getup, going to the border, going, as you mentioned, to the El Salvador prison, being there when they deport people as if it's some sort of sport because these people are so sick. When is somebody going to call her out on the right? That's what I'm waiting for.
Well, we see example after example of hypocrisy, but your point about the get up and all the extensions, and that's fine. If that's what makes you feel well, the president the same way. He wants to put makeup on his face. He wants to wear a wig. That makes him feel good. I don't have anything wrong with it. But where the hypocrisy comes in is a young man wants to wear a woman's dress or put makeup on, let him do it. It's the same thing. They're doing the same thing that they forbid. They rail against.
Very, very well stated, sir. And I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. So we have Henry, who just shot me an email, and he said, the orange armadillo, 702-221-7283. Linda is calling from Canada. Hey, Linda, what's going on?
Oh, I'm doing great so far. Hopefully our prime minister will get voted in again.
Yeah.
So he can deal with the yellow turd that you call. right?
Orange. Let's get our colors right, though. It's got to be.
Turd,
Yeah.
okay, orange turd, right?
Yes.
Well, on my TV, he looks yellow.
Well, that might be
So,
true.
like orange, yellow, whatever he is, right?
Yes, that's
yeah,
fair.
I'm glad.
That's fair.
That's fair. Okay. No, but you know what? What gets me is that, like people are saying about him going after the South Americans, right? And I'm going to put them all in a pot because he doesn't know the difference between Mexican or anybody else, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to share a story with you that happened to me when I was in my 20s. I'm in my 50s now.
Okay.
And my aunt had a trailer, right, in Sarasota. It was a gated community. And I met this American woman, and my daughter was 4 at the time. And she said to me at that time, "Oh, dear, you don't have to worry. We're in a gated community, and you don't have to deal with any Southern Americans or Mexicans coming in here."
Yeah.
Now, I found that really, really insulting because both parents of mine are Spanish. I'm pure Spanish. And here's this woman telling me that she didn't want any South Americans or anything that had my bloodline there. And that was like, I'm going back years, right?
Yeah.
So I think this problem is always been there. And your yellow turd, orange turd, right, just brought it up to the surface, right, of all these people were thinking, but didn't have a voice for it. And I find people like that are disgusting. I don't care what country you come from.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
The world is looking at him and everybody that follows him. And I don't think you're going to get any changes there done until, like, he's got, 42% that still think that he's great.
You know what? It might
right?
it might even be higher than that. I don't know. And that would be 42% ignoramus. Again, I'm at the point now where, I try to be respectful to certain people that are respectful for me, but if you still support Donald Trump when you look at where this country's at right now, there's something wrong with you. Thank you for the call, my dear. I really appreciate you. Running kind of short on time here, so I got to run through the phone calls at 702-221-7283. Let's go to Julie. Julie's calling out of Tennessee. Hey, Julie.
Hey, Brian. I don't know if my landlord got a few pointers from Trump, but my landlord wants to evict me because of me not having enough money to pay my rent because I'm living paycheck to paycheck.
Well, first of all, it's illegal for her to kick you out, in a few weeks or a month. There are laws put in place in every state in this country so that if you're in dire straits, she has to go. Your landlord has to go through a process, and it could be a lengthy process. So it is illegal for her to threaten to kick you out immediately. It's a very long process, and you have the opportunity, and the government does that for a reason. So you have rights to be able to get back on your feet, so you're not put out on the street.
Thanks for telling me that. And also, I feel bad for Don Lemon being in the New York airport because I was there 2 years ago, and they don't have any spots for you to sleep. You have to sleep in a chair if you can get in a quiet spot.
You know what I'll say to that? It's Donald Trump's America. So if they want, they would complain for everything right under Joe Biden. Everything was Joe Biden's fault. They have a hangnail. You blame it on Joe Biden. Donald Trump's America, ladies and gentlemen. This is Donald Trump's America, simply put. So I do want to thank, by the way, Don Lemon for taking the time to join us. We appreciate him. We know he's doing a show in like 20 minutes, but he still took the time on the curb there looking for his, I guess I would assume, his car. And he took some time to join us. That was really nice of Don to do that. He's the best. We have some very special guests that are going to be joining us throughout the remainder of this week, and I'm excited to announce that. I'll announce some more guests tomorrow. Thank you, Sir Seuss, for your donation. Says, not hearing much about Ukraine. Do you know who is helping them and where they stand in the war? Well, I'll tell you right now, our government's not helping them because of Donald Trump. That's what makes it very upsetting and dangerous, and they need our help. Queen, thank you for your donation. That's why my brother said he wouldn't vote for Hillary, said a woman can't run the country. He is a black MAGA, OAN. I wonder if this man voted for Obama. Well, you know what? Again, I go through the list with everybody, right? Why would any woman vote for Donald Trump when you look at the way he's treated women his entire life? Why would any veteran vote for Donald Trump, right? Why would any minority vote for Donald Trump? We can go through the list. Why would any American, why would anybody in this country vote for Trump? I still ask myself that very same question, and the answer I always get is usually the same one: ill-informed, uneducated, bigotry, racism, stupidity. Let's not oversimplify it. And maybe the last one would be want to save money in my bank account because I'm a gazillionaire. That's it. All right, everybody. So I get a lot of emails from people every day. How could I get more involved in the show? How could I support what you do? Listen, you got to go to my website, pushingthelimits.live. We want to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the month, and I think we're going to be able to do that. We're at like 88.8 right now. So the best thing you can do is be active on there. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some comments. Tell other people to subscribe to my YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. Also, go to my website, pushingthelimits.live. You can make donations there. It doesn't matter what it is, $5, $10, $20 a month, whatever you can afford. We also sell shirts, beanies, you name it, we sell it on there, coffee mugs, and we appreciate your support. It's how we keep this thing going. And we all have to keep this going, not just as a country, but PTL Nation. I'm really proud of what we have here. The PTL show. I love hearing from all of you, and I really, truly believe I have some of the most informed and educated listeners on any radio show across the country. I really do believe that. You should listen to these idiots that call into the Sean Hannity show. Hi, Sean. I love your show. How about that sleepy Joe Biden? I'm like, oh, my God, these people are so stupid. Thank God the majority of the listeners that I have are very intelligent, well-spoken, and I love all you guys. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to compliment all of you. But anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place